Known as the Renaissance, the period immediately following the Middle Ages in Europe saw a great revival of interest in the classical learning and values of ancient Greece and Rome. Against a backdrop of political stability and growing prosperity, the development of new technologies, including the printing press, a new system of astronomy, and the discovery and exploration of new continents, was accompanied by a flowering of philosophy, literature, and especially art. The style of painting, sculpture, and decorative arts identified with the Renaissance emerged in Italy in the late 14th century. It reached its zenith in the late 15th and early 16th century, and the work of Italian masters such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. In addition to its expression of classical Greco-Roman traditions, Renaissance art sought to capture the experience of the individual and beauty and mystery of the natural world. The Renaissance art masters were Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. The origins of the Renaissance was from 1280 to 1400. The early Renaissance was from 1401 to 1490. The High Renaissance art was from 1490 to 1527. Many works of Renaissance art depicted religious images, including subjects such as the Virgin Mary or Madonna, and were encountered by contemporary audiences of the period in the context of religious rituals. Today they are viewed as great works of art, but at the time they were seen as used mostly as devotional objects. Leonardo da Vinci is the artist I'm going to look into. He was the Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci was born on 15th of April 1452 near the Tuscan town of Vinci. The illegitimate son of a local lawyer, he was apprenticed to the sculptor and painter Andrea del Verrocchio in Florence, and in 1478 became an independent master. From 1495 to 1497 he produced a mural of the Last Supper in the refectory of the monastery of Santa Maria delle Grazie, Milan. Da Vinci was in Milan until the city was invaded by the French in 1499, and the Sforza family forced to flee. He may have visited Venice before returning to Florence. During his time in Florence, he painted several portraits, but the only one that survives is the famous Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is a woman who has such an ambiguous expression on her face, which makes the painting very famous. The background also looks quite calming, and it is quite weird, which also makes the painting look very unique. Today the Mona Lisa looks rather sombre, in dull shades of brown and yellow. This is due to a layer of varnish covering the paint, which has yellowed over the years. It is possible that the painting was once brighter and more colorful than it is now. Leonardo has used a technique known as sfumato, the blurring of sharp edges by blending colors. To leave the corners of the eyes and the mouth in shadow is the technique that makes the Mona Lisa's expression ambiguous. The background of the painting has been made to look more hazy with fewer distinct outlines than the foreground. This technique is known as the aerial perspective, and Leonardo was one of the first painters to use it to give his paintings more depth. This painting makes me feel somehow doubtful, as a smile looks a little like a smirk, and it makes it look like there is a lot behind this painting.